Farm Week is a production of the Mississippi State University Extension Service.
Today on Farm Week, a Dundee farmer has been named the Mississippi winner of the Sun Belt Ag Expo Southeastern Farmer of the Year.
The weather was a little raw, but that didn't keep many from turning out for the MSU Muscadine Field Day.
In Southern Gardening, find out how to design your own perfect patio.
In the markets, pond bank catfish prices are moving up for farmers, while some say it's a tough time of year for the beef sector.
In the feature segment, we'll travel to Hattiesburg and Purvis, where salad table and raised bed gardening is growing quite popular. The salad tables in particular are showing up in a lot of different places.
After we got the media exposure, we've got a lot of phone calls, and then that's how we started the project with the Palmer's Crossing Community Center and other individuals who we brought them to their houses who are either recovering stroke victims, or they just like to garden standing up.
Good day, everyone. I'm Leighton Spann.
And I'm Artis Ford. Welcome to Farm Week.
A Mississippi Delta farmer will represent the state in October for the Southeastern Farmer of the Year honors.
Leighton Abbott Myers of Dundee will compete against farmers from 9 other states. Myers was named the Mississippi representative for the Swisher Sweets Sun Belt Ag Expo Southeastern Farmer of the Year competition. Myers will travel to Moultrie, Georgia, where the overall winner will be announced October 15th. Myers said, quote, "I don't know why I was chosen for this award, but I am enthusiastic about farming and spending a lot of time doing it." Myers has farmed for 42 years. He grows rice, soybeans, and corn on 7,100 acres. Myers produces excellent yields in spite of having mostly clay soil on his farm. Myers credits the Mississippi State University Extension Service for providing unbiased information and advice that have helped him to improve his operation. He says the biggest obstacle that farmers face is meeting new Environmental Protection Agency standards while remaining competitive with farmers from countries that don't face strict regulation.
Rain and gusty winds didn't stop visitors from participating in the recent Muscadine Field Day. It was held at the McNeil unit of the Mississippi Agricultural and Forestry Experiment Station of Mississippi State University. Interest in muscadine growing remains high due to the appealing taste, healthful attributes, and new varieties being developed. Farm Week's Amy Taylor reports.
You know what they say about Mississippi's climate. If you don't like the weather, wait it out. That seemed to be the case for those who attended the annual Muscadine Field Day despite the inconvenience of wind and rain. Mississippi State University Extension Service fruit crop specialist Dr. Eric Staffney explains why visitors come to the field day.
Muscadine Field Day is something very interesting to a lot of people in Mississippi because it's a native fruit crop. They get to come out here and taste a lot of different varieties that they may not have been exposed to before.
Additionally, Dr. Staffney says it's interesting to observe the various textures and appealing taste of this fruit. The muscadine also contains minerals and antioxidants, which is why its health benefits are being researched. Furthermore, Dr. Staffney talks about muscadine research being conducted at various institutes in the U.S.
There are, certain places that are working on breeding muscadines, like University of Georgia, University of Arkansas, North Carolina State, Florida. Those places are doing active work with muscadines. They're trying to develop muscadines that have thinner skins, that have different flavors, that are seedless. So all those that work is being done. It's just we haven't got to the point of being released to the public yet.
Dr. Staffney says muscadines are easily grown in Mississippi, but the vines do require a lot of pruning. Visitors at the event also learned about disease control and vine management. The Muscadine Field Day was held at the McNeil unit of the MSU Coastal Research and Extension Center. I'm Amy Taylor reporting.
Well, as we enter mid-September, let's check on the Mississippi Weekly Crop Report from the Mississippi Ag Statistics Service. Now, this report reflects conditions as of last Sunday, September 15th. As you look at topsoil moisture, we've had a little rain, but it's still gotten drier. It's no surplus soil moisture in the state. Adequate 41%, which is down 8 points from the week before. Short soil moisture now in 35% of the state, and the very short category more than doubled to 24%. Mississippi corn, 80% of the crop is harvested now, which is about on the 5-year average, which is not surprising considering the dry weather we've had. Mississippi soybeans, 53% of the crop turning color. That's far behind the 82% average for the state. Only a third of the crop is dropping leaves at this time. Mississippi cotton, 1% of the crop is harvested, and the average is 9% for the state, but I'm sure that's been sped up by the dry weather. Mississippi rice, 55% of the crop is mature, which is far behind the 93% average for the state. 17% harvested, which is as well behind the 52% average for here. Now, Mississippi peanuts running ahead of average, 23% dug as of September 15th. Harvest is 20% complete, and the average for the state is 5%. Mississippi sweet potatoes also running ahead of average, 20% of the crop harvested, 5% is the average for the state. Have you ever wanted to create the perfect patio at your home? Well, in this week's Southern Gardening segment, Extension horticulturist Dr. Gary Bachman will show us the right design can give us options in a small space.
Sometimes the size or shape of a landscape can seem limiting, but with the right design and plant selection, the options can be limitless. Today I'm visiting my friends Helen and Pete and seeing how they make the most of their New Orleans-style back landscape. The gravel walk around the side of the house opens up on a broad paver patio area. The linear pattern of the pavers helps to visually make the patio look bigger. Both ends of the patio are anchored by river birch and southern magnolia, enhancing the area. All around the patio perimeter is a wall of tumbled block creating raised planting beds. These wall blocks are man-made and the tumbling adds an aged look. The raised landscape beds create the ideal settings for their variety of evergreen shrubs and grasses. The back landscape is surrounded by a vertical wood fence and softened with Savannah holly planted in front. In the fall and winter, the Savannah holly puts on a show with its copious berry production. A large trellis draws your eye to the middle of the back landscape. The trellis crossbeams are supported by brick columns which match the brick of the house. This is the perfect location for hanging baskets like these colorful bougainvilleas. The focal point of the back landscape is the fountain found underneath the trellis. The fountain features a playful cherub and both are dark blue-gray, which is contrasted by the background of green king-tut papyrus. The papyrus leaves are clustered and resemble umbrellas, adding textural interest. Helen and Pete have done a great job using a variety of plants and hardscape materials to create a relaxing backyard. I'm horticulturist Gary Bachman for Southern Gardening.
Gary says, Leighton, that there are a lot of hardscape materials to choose from in creating your patio. As you travel around, gather ideas from the commercial and home landscapes that you see, then make a design plan and follow it through. In the feature segment today, do you think that all gardening involves bending over beds? Well, we'll go to Hattiesburg and Purvis, where the master gardeners are putting in raised beds in different forms and heights in a lot of different places. Time now for the markets with Leighton. And Leighton, you say there are expectations for a big U.S. corn crop to get bigger?
That's right, and also a large sale of U.S. soybeans to China. We'll start, though, with grains in this segment, but also we'll look at these stories this week. No shortage of cotton in the world. U.S. pond bank catfish prices top $1. And some see more potential for the beef sector in 2014. Well, the markets have spent this week digesting the USDA's monthly crop and supply demand updates. Extension Ag economist Brian Williams discussed developments in corn and soybeans with me Thursday morning. Brian, the USDA is still estimating we've got a huge corn crop in the U.S.
They are.
Is there going to be demand out there to support prices for that much corn?
Looking at the prices, we're actually at the same price levels today as we were the day before the report was released. So it really hasn't impacted the prices. And I do think that the demand is out there for both ethanol as well as from the cattle feeders.
Well, that was my next question. How will this much corn impact when we talk about livestock feeding operations? What's that picture looking like?
Well, I think we have a lot of cattle feeders that are excited about the prices right now. You know, it's the record crop is helping to bring the prices down a little bit, and it's definitely good news for them.
Now, there has been some ideas and analysis late this week that perhaps that corn acreage is going to shift backwards a little bit from what USDA is right now.
Yeah, there was a new report that came out earlier this week. The FSA released some new prevented acres, and right now the corn is at about 3.56 million prevented acres.
All right, and that figure is probably going to be factored in by USDA when they do their October report.
That's what we're expecting, is that they'll take that into account in the next report.
Okay. All right, let's shift to soybeans. What did the latest USDA numbers have to say about our soybean crop?
Well, on soybeans, there really wasn't any big surprises. They bumped the yields down by about 1.4 bushels per acre on the soybeans, and so we're expecting a smaller crop.
All right, and what is that going to mean as far as the prices that farmers may receive? What will the price picture may be? Well,
again, with soybeans, there was really no movement in prices week to week. The prices today are about the same as they were in the last report, and I think a lot of that's because a few weeks ago when the pod counts were coming in, that already had gotten factored into the markets.
And any marketing advice, final parting comments here?
It's going to be a roller coaster, I think, going forward. So it's tough to call exactly what's going to happen.
Well, some traders describe the cotton market as being locked in a sideways pattern between 82 and 87 cents. The weekly U.S. export sales report for cotton came in below expectations and even below last week's numbers. Analyst Alan Brugler is not surprised at the lack of support in the international market.
Cotton is kind of difficult to discern here because globally we've got record stocks. 316 days of use if you just didn't grow anything. That's over 9 months where you wouldn't need any cotton at all other than what's already in the warehouse. From that standpoint, prices ought to be a lot lower. But the reality is a lot of that cotton's tied up in China. It's not leaving China. If they free up the reserves, it would mainly affect the import program there. Okay, U.S. would lose exports if the Chinese start to work down their stocks. But yeah, basically USDA made minor changes to their export forecast and to their ending stocks forecast. There's a little money flow there. As the world economies are picking up, that you do see some additional demand for cotton goods.
A new USDA survey updates farm computer usage in the state of Mississippi. Part of this data is the subject for our trivia quiz. Here's the question: how many farms in Mississippi have internet access in 2013? Is the answer 64% or 63%, 58%, or down to 50%? I'll tell you at the end of the markets.
We're going to pause for a short break on Farm Week. Coming up, we'll look at the calendar and the rest of the markets. Leighton Spann reports on a change in catfish prices and their slower demand for fed cattle. In the feature segment today, want less weeding and an early start to your gardening season? Try salad tables and raised beds. These gardening methods are growing popular in the Hattiesburg area.
Hi, I'm Leighton Spann, host of Farm Week. Coming up in October, look for Farm Week at a new time on Saturdays. Beginning with the first Saturday in October, look for Farm Week 30 minutes earlier. We'll be switching to Saturdays at 6 p.m. Once again, starting Saturday, October 5th, Farm Week will be airing at 6 p.m. instead of our traditional 6:30 p.m. time slot. You can also look for more information on our time change on our Facebook page and our website.
Before we get back to the markets, let's look at the Farm Week calendar. A workshop will take place starting September 24th on helping Mississippi's farm and ranch women to plan the transfer of their operations from one generation to the next. The workshops will be held 5 consecutive Tuesday evenings starting September 24th. The cost is $25, which will include a light supper each week. Hours are 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. It will be offered at 4 locations: Collins, Indianola, Raymond, and Starkville. For more information, contact your county extension service office or look on the Farmweek website calendar and Facebook page. The 40th annual Ornamental Horticulture Field Day is Thursday, October 10th. Disease management, new crepe myrtle varieties, and plant variety trials are among the items on the agenda. The location is the South Mississippi Branch Station of the Mississippi Ag and Forestry Experiment Station. It's located at Poplarville, just across from Pearl River Community College. Go to our Farm Week website at farmweek.msucares.com for information on these and other events. Now check out this week's Farm Week Snapshot.
Well, Farm Week continues with a check of the latest snapshot of the U.S. farm-raised catfish industry. This reflects what was happening during the month of August. The pond bank price, the price farmers received, climbed above $1 per pound, an increase of 23 cents per pound from 1 year ago. Farm sales were up 5% from August of 2012, while processor sales dropped almost 10.5%. At the midweek, pork sector was focused on the demand picture for hogs in the cash market. Analyst Naomi Bloom says cash hog prices normally do come down by October and November from where they are in the summertime.
Normally we see prices slide lower because production is increasing because of breeding patterns, but what's been happening right now is that the weights have been down a little bit because of the heat, and the demand has been hanging in there overall. So the futures market has rallied. It's been partially driven by speculators being in the marketplace, and so it seems like traders are just waiting for the market to drop, but it's not, and the cash market is actually kind of hanging in there.
Ahead of the September 20th USDA cattle on feed report, many analysts on average expect all major categories to be below 1 year ago. Traders say this reflects the continued contraction of the U.S. cattle herd. Analyst John Roach had this comment about the fat cattle market.
We think we're about fully priced in the cattle market. I mean, this is the kind of the tough time of year here for the beef market. The kids are back in school, and it's expensive to put the kids back in school, and so moms look for a way to ease the budget a little bit, and that tends to slow down the demand for beef a little bit.
Before our new Farm Week feature story, let's check out the trivia answer for you this week, and the correct choice is C. 58% of the farms in Mississippi have internet access.
When the gardening bug bites, it's an interest that can last a lifetime. In today's feature story, see how the Pine Belt Master Gardeners of the Mississippi State University Extension Service are using salad tables and raised beds to bring the joy of gardening to nursing center residents and physically handicapped people. They found these raised beds are also popular with schools, youth programs, and those who simply like to garden. Today's feature story takes us to Hattiesburg and Purvis in Forest and Lamar counties.
A lot of people have not only the handicap, but people have found out it's a lot better to garden standing up. And one thing, you don't have to worry about as many weeds.
Paul Cavanaugh of Purvis, Mississippi is speaking about salad tables. The name comes from the fact salad greens are often grown in them. It's a cross between raised bed and container gardening. Raised bed gardens are usually built on the ground. A salad table raises the soil off the ground so those who can't kneel can still garden from wheelchairs or standing up.
If you have 27 inches of clearance between the ground and the bottom of the table, that is the correct height for a wheelchair. If you have it 32 inches, you can use these devices called a rollator that people push who have back problems and then could sit down in it. And so we adjust the heights according to what they're going to be needed for. It started with an email from a master gardener named Cindy Payne from Knoxville, Tennessee. Her mother was here in this nursing home. Her mother loved gardening, and she wanted to have a way for her to continue gardening. So she contacted us, wanted to know if that would be a project we'd be interested in.
The Pine Belt Master Gardeners constructed the salad tables on site for residents of Wyndham House Nursing Center of Hattiesburg. Rust-proof aluminum screen and hardware cloth were attached to the bottom of the cypress wood frame. This holds up the bedding material and keeps you from overwatering. The tables have proven to be an idea with many applications.
After we got the media exposure, we've got a lot of phone calls, and then that's how we started the project with the Palmer's Crossing Community Center, and other individuals who we brought them to their houses who are either recovering stroke victims, or they just like to garden standing up.
Container gardening or the raised bed gardening has really started taking off here locally, as well as, all over the place really, just because of the sheer economics of it and the labor involved, much less labor than traditional garden.
The salad tables have also benefited vocational technology students in Lamar County. Kavanaugh says the original salad table design he found on the internet had problems. The Pine Belt Master Gardeners got in touch then with Ken McCoy, a construction technology teacher at the Lamar County Technical Center. McCoy improved on the design and suggested the salad tables could be a valuable teaching project for his students. McCoy also hooked the Master Gardeners up with Acadia Hardwoods of Ponchatoula, Louisiana, who supplied the cypress lumber at a discount.
And it's good for our students too here at the Technical Center. They learn how to measure, cut, put things together, and it's a good learning tool for them. It makes them feel good that knowing that they're doing a project for the community to help.
The next stop for the salad tables was the summer youth program at the Danny Hinton Palmer's Crossing Community Center. There was excitement as the children worked with the Pine Belt Master Gardeners and learned how food is grown.
Because they go to the store and they go to Walmart and they buy vegetables. Their parents buy them, of course, but they don't know where they come from. So this was an opportunity for them to actually take part in this program and actually see how the vegetables, if it's tomatoes, how they grow, how to pick them.
The Pine Belt Master Gardeners are part of more than 1,600 Master Gardeners statewide. The Mississippi State University Extension Service program is offered in 54 counties at this time. To become a Master Gardener, a person receives 40 hours of horticulture training and then agrees to give 40 hours of volunteer service back to the program. In 2012, Mississippi Master Gardeners volunteered almost 51,000 hours, worth more than $1 million.
And they also go out and do educational programs on different topics. So they're speakers, not only doing hands-on projects, but they are giving educational programs out in the community. So it's very beneficial for Extension.
And our house in Colorado, New York, I've always gardened, and so I was missing that. So the Master Gardener program was a way that I could learn about gardening, learn about it in Mississippi, and then have someone else's dirt to dig in, and it was good fun.
Tina Haley of Hattiesburg is also a Pine Belt Master Gardener. Her work with the salad tables convinced her she needed some. She roots cuttings in them as well as growing edible plants.
I do have other herbs out in lower pots and out in the ground, but those I need to weed a lot more. And I can't really see them like I can see this. I can't harvest them the same way. Yeah, it's been great fun.
Less weeding is a big advantage of raised bed and container gardening. The bedding material in the salad table also warms up faster in the spring and stays cooler, allowing crops like lettuce to grow longer. John Monroe of Purvis has his own take on raised bed gardening. He has tall sides on his beds with a rail to sit on. Monroe fills the beds with sand and then adds 6 to 8 inches of bedding material on top. He even double crops.
Like this spring I had Irish potatoes and followed by squash and okra, and does real well. And a lot of times you can plant earlier because these beds warm up sooner.
Monroe's arbor grows hundreds of pounds of tomatoes each year. The plants are placed in containers on platforms, each with its own water supply. His best year?
2011 would probably be the best year when we had, I think we harvested 625 pounds of tomatoes here in my backyard.
Monroe is the Lamar County Soil and Water Conservation District's conservationist. He says the proliferation of raised beds and salad tables in the area shows how much can be accomplished when agencies work together.
We work hard to develop partnerships with folks like Extension Service and our traditional partners like NRCS and Master Gardeners. They just help us so much when it comes to spreading the news about conservation education.
And you can watch this feature story again on salad tables and raised bed gardening on our Farm Week website, our Facebook page, or YouTube. If you live in Forest or Lamar counties, you can join the Pine Belt Master Gardeners. Contact the Mississippi State University Extension Service office in either of those 2 counties. If you live elsewhere, contact your county Extension Service office to join Master Gardeners. If your county doesn't have a chapter, start one. We'll have all this contact information on our website and Facebook page. That's farmweek.msucares.com. So Leighton, I was really fascinated with John Monroe's tomato arbor. I'm going to build one of those. You know, they say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Right.
You know, 625 pounds of tomatoes.
That's hard to believe.
But the salad tables are a great idea. You can contact Pine Belt Master Gardeners and they will get you the plans. Once again, we thank them for having us down. We are at the end of Farm Week for this week. On our next show, we'll report on a federal work program from the Great Depression that's still benefiting us today.
It was called the Civilian Conservation Corps, or the CCC. Unemployed young men built public works projects, including national parks and soil erosion abatement.
In Southern Gardening, All-America plant selections. Choose these and you're almost guaranteed success. For the rest of the Farm Week crew, I'm Artis Ford.
And I'm Leighton Spann. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week.